Good evening. Metro has apologised to the train passengers left badly shaken by a series of explosions during their evening commute. The cause has been narrowed to a fault on the ageing carriage that's been in service since before Bob Hawke was Prime Minister.
Peak hour chaos on the Craigieburn line. Explosions rang out from the roof of a carriage. Smoke filtered into the train, sending commuters just heading home into panic.
Everyone was ducking because it kept happening over and over again. I was on the floor trying to get under the seats, but there were lots of people on the floor, so it was very chaotic.
Passengers huddled inside, stuck just after North Melbourne Station. But they couldn't for almost an hour as the driver calmed their fears.
G'day folks, apologies for that, we just had some overhead power issues. It is still not working fully properly, so I'm going to have to get you all off the train.
At Kensington, where they were eventually allowed out.
We just saw the spark, we didn't have much time to think what was happening.
It's just a loud bang, some sparks, and people panicking. The driver did a really good job. He was saying that he was resetting the things on the top of the train.
That thing is a pantograph. It connects the overhead power line, but had malfunctioned.
When we realised that, the driver did the right thing and dropped the pantograph. So it took us time to make sure that we could safely reinstate the power.
The train in question is now being repaired, but it is part of the Comeng fleet, which is Metro Trains' oldest. They were rolled out when Malcolm Fraser was Prime Minister. The year was 1981.
Our initial investigation has identified the failure, but we need a bit more time to do a more thorough investigation. And then once we've confirmed that, we'll release the train back into the fleet.
Metro Trains spends $13 million on maintenance every week.
So I'd like to apologise on behalf of Metro Trains Melbourne for any distress that we did cause to our passengers.
Jordan Quinn, 7 News.
The Royal Melbourne Hospital has declared a code black emergency after a pregnant nurse was reportedly threatened by a patient with a weapon. Live to Blake Johnson and Blake, these are horrendous allegations.
Pete, it's believed the patient held a screwdriver to a pregnant nurse's stomach. This caused a code black alarm, which is an internal hospital emergency for an immediate personal threat. The Nurses Union says this is part of a growing trend of violence against healthcare workers, not just inside hospitals, but outside too. Last week, 2 midwives from Geelong Hospital were assaulted while returning to their cars. They just finished their shifts around 11 p.m. on Friday. Data shows 10% of health workers experience violence on almost every shift, but the union says this number is likely higher in real life because many workers don't report anymore due to what they say is a lack of action from their employers. Union is calling on hospitals, both public and private, to up their security so all staff can feel safe. Peter?
Blake Johnson in Parkville, thank you. The Premier is backing in her new minister who's just been caught out giving character references to criminals. Luba Grigorovitch admits she failed to properly vet people who asked for her support and didn't even Google their names.
Luba Grigorovitch has been a minister in Jacinta Allen's government for just 5 weeks. Already an apology.
I'm sorry and it won't happen again.
Suddenly regretful after revelations she wrote references for domestic violence and sexual assault offenders. When checking the 33 references she gave as an MP, she found 6 were men she shouldn't have helped. So these people strangers to you?
These people are volunteers in the community.
But are they strangers to you?
No, they're volunteers in the community.
And what have they done though?
I'm not going to go into the detail of each individual.
Why is that?
They're private individuals.
But her team later revealed the others had family violence and magistrates' court appearances. One was fined for selling illegal merchandise and the other was believed to support the then Iranian leader.
I took them on face value and I provided a character reference.
Did you say no to any requests for a reference?
Not that I recall.
And she admitted she hadn't even Googled any of their names.
A lot of members of parliament give character references.
But all these MPs said they haven't, and so did these 4. These also said they say no, but a few have, selectively.
for a person who I knew for 15 years. It's very, very rarely.
If this government had any integrity, she would be sacked.
The Premier resisting again, despite previous concerns about the minister's connections to former CFMEU boss John Setka.
I support all my fabulous ministers.
Luba Grigorovitch said despite the backlash, the 6 men still hadn't been told to stop using her references. But she expected her office staff to inform them today that they have been withdrawn. And the other 27?
I believe that they are good people.
No chance they're going to let you down?
I hope not.
Paul Dowsley, 7 News.
Media mogul Anthony Catalano has been given approval to travel interstate to visit the wife he's accused of bashing. Rochelle Brown was in court. Rochelle, Catalano is free to travel to Byron Bay.
Well, Mitch, Catalano won his bid to overturn an interstate travel ban without even stepping foot in court. It means he's been given the green light to travel to Byron Bay, where the couple owns a multi-million-dollar home. Anthony Catalano's lawyer successfully applied to vary his client's bail conditions so he can visit family as long as he's not affected by drugs or alcohol. Catalano is accused of dragging his wife Stephanie through their luxury St Kilda apartment by her hair, swinging a clothes iron at her head and threatening to kill her. The entrepreneur was granted permission to appear in court remotely. His lawyer arguing facing reporters outside could be potentially detrimental to his mental health. Catalano is yet to enter a plea to any of the charges and he'll be back in court in July. Mitch?
Rochelle Brown in the CBD, thank you. Detectives are hunting a lone gunman who fired shots into a Craigieburn home and filmed the entire ordeal on his mobile phone. But the investigation is being hampered by a serious delay.
A gun in one hand, a phone in the other. 3 shots were fired into this Craigieburn home at 1 in the afternoon.
Seriously, it's so scary. So scary, someone just threatening anyone. Like, it's not acceptable.
It appears to be a handgun.
It happened in October last year.
It's amazing what happens when you're not around.
But it wasn't reported to police until January, and investigators still can't find the gunman.
That's really, really concerning.
Because the actual offending was videoed by the offender themselves, that seems to be indicating that it was a targeted shooting.
The Land Rover he was driving, a mystery too.
We haven't confirmed anything in relation to the car registration.
Today the house is a fortress. High fences, pole-mounted cameras and even a secondary security cage around the front door. The current tenant, a father of 4, claims he has no idea who was the intended target. Investigators haven't even been able to do ballistics testing because too much time has passed, so they're not even sure if the bullets hit the home at all, and the video taken by the gunman has never surfaced.
That would be something we'd be interested in as well. If you don't want to talk to us or don't feel comfortable talking to police, you're more than welcome to contact Crime Stoppers.
Residents left to wonder and worry.
How long is it going to take to actually catch them in general?
Jacqueline Stanley, 7 News.